Hi, I'm Chance. I'm playing a show in Tampa tomorrow night, and I want all those hard of hearing and deaf in the Tampa area to come out and see our show.
Chance found me through Bonnaroo. So I was interpreting for Dram, and Chance was backstage watching, and he's like, "What's that?" Like, I never seen interpretation happen like that before.
We just want to turn up.
And then you look at the deaf community like, yo, we have like our own rapper. He's moving like a rapper, but he's signing too. Okay, this lit too. My name is Mack Nasty. I'm the CEO, creator, founder of Definitely Dope. Being a hip-hop sign language interpreter was outside the norm and the usual standard of sign language interpreting. Your mission is to really make sure that this audience who's never really experienced listening to music can see it in a way that they can relate to it with their language, but they can also understand it in its own context without it being blurred or lost in translation.
She said, hola, como esta? She said, konnichiwa. She said, pardon my French. I said, bonjour, mara. Then she said, sabate. And I said, nabule. No matter where I go, you know I love homage.
If somebody says, turn up at the club, I think of how it looks in the club. People are just, let's go. So I'm thinking that's how I would define or show what it means to turn up. Because if I find turn up, it doesn't look the same, it doesn't have the same effect compared to if I say, turn up.
Why toss my filter when she say my life?
My DNA not for imitation, your DNA an abomination.
I can't keep worrying about the things in my life I can't change.
I got my hearing aids when I was 2, so I've always had hearing aids the whole time growing up. College, when I was 18, that was my first time really starting to learn sign language. Hip-hop, rap was like my outlet to just try to practice on my own just so that I could keep up with regular conversations. And then I realized, oh, okay, signing songs is easier too. And then people would see me sign songs and they'd be like, yo, that's cool. I love providing hip-hop and music to another culture that never really had the chance to experience it before. There's nothing out there to where we feel included. So why not create something to where people can feel included and not just be that?
Whenever people tell us mariachi music is sacred and you can't change it or touch it, you know, and believe me, there's a lot of people that are trying to convince us like what we're doing is like a musical sin. But in order to create something new and beautiful, you have to take risk. You have to do something new. How does something new come about if you don't change it? Metalachi is the first and only heavy metal mariachi band in the world. We know what we're doing when it comes to mariachi. Before Metalachi, everybody spent years doing mariachi. We're charros. We did mariachi for our life. That's how we made money. We use traditional mariachi instruments. It's the same thing that you would find in a mariachi band. Doing what we do is not really that easy. To make a heavy metal song into a metalachi song, you have to invent rhythms. And we basically create patterns. And a lot of people don't see it. They don't really hear like, oh, wow, that's a new pattern. But the thing is that if we see people moving to it, then we know we did a good job.
Welcome to the stage, Metal Archie!
We cover a lot of different types of bands and everything. Like some you guys know, like Guns N' Roses.
Welcome to the jungle. We down by the game. Hey, come on.
Ozzy Osbourne. Hardcore stuff like Slayer. Not so hardcore stuff like Journey.
She's just a small town girl.
I mean, you name it, we do all that.
A lonely world.
There's times where a song translates very well and we can pick it up like in a couple hours, we can put something together and it sounds really nice. We've even traveled to Mexico to go play over there and not really knowing how they would accept it because there's a lot of people that are very traditional. You know, they love it because mariachi music is about life. It's about beauty. So is heavy metal music, and they're actually singing about the same stuff. They just do it in their own different way. By integrating the two things, we're showing mariachi people, this music is also beautiful. But we're showing our heavy metal music is that your music could be interpreted a different way, you know? So I think we like that message that's being sent out.
My name is Peril Wolf, and I am the lead singer-songwriter for the band Peril, and we are an all-girl Hasidic rock band from Crown Heights, Brooklyn. All of our live concerts are for women only. I grew up in a Hasidic home, so having a separation of the sexes in certain places is pretty common. There's a law in Judaism for men not to listen to the singing voice of a woman who is not an immediate family member. I would say one of the biggest misconceptions that people have about the Hasidic community, people think that women are totally oppressed, that women can't be leaders. I felt very much empowered as a woman, spending time with other powerful women and having time to connect and having our own space. Women deserve a space to rock out. The response from the Hasidic community has been really positive mostly. You know, let's empower women, let's make something new for women. When fans come over and tell you, I felt so comfortable tonight, I felt like I could dance, I felt like I could be myself, or I really felt a powerful energy being around other women, I'm like, okay, we're doing something important, and that's really all that matters.
We have been called the Indians, or the Alusa Nation.
Tribal music, club music, mixed together and made by these guys.
I'm DJ Indian.
I'm Toolman.
I'm Bear Witness, and we are a Tribe Called Red.
We remix traditional powwow music with contemporary club music.
First Nations powwow music originated in the North American plains. Traditionally, it consists of a large drum with singers and dancers around it.
Essentially, powwow music's traditional dance music. That's why we ended up doing what we do. We're using our music now in much the same way that powwow was used, to create a gathering place.
And to a tribe called Red, powwow music isn't just an adopted style. It's a significant part of their heritage.
I'm Anishinaabe from Nipissing First Nations. I grew up around powwows and going to powwows. They're big cultural gatherings.
The significance of us using powwow in our music is just a way to create something that represents Indigenous people and that Indigenous people can relate to.
Their shows are a cultural fusion experience, combining more than just sound, but visuals too.
We ended up hooking up with some people who were doing the same thing we were doing with dance. They're a native dance crew, they're breakers, but they mix it with powwow. So it's that same kind of fusion.
And it's that combination of contemporary and tradition that's introducing Indigenous culture to a wider audience.
I think when we started, if you asked your average non-Indigenous person in Canada if they know what powwow music was, they would shrug and say no. Now I think that's begun to change.
People sometimes here in the US think ska bands died, but it grew in other parts of the world. And then it leaked back into the Latin ska bands that we have in LA. Most people in the rest of the world don't expect Latinos in LA to listen to ska music or even know about it, but it's what we do. My name's Clemente Ruiz. I'm a musician, producer. I'm also the guy behind the biggest ska punk events we have in LA. I grew up running around in the streets of Linwood, Compton, and Southgate. I got shot at a few times. I got mugged a few times. If I didn't have music and I didn't have the ska punk shows to go to, I don't know where I would have been. Latin ska punk has influences from all over the place. It's a genre that collects bits and pieces of everything from Jamaican reggae to hardcore to the Mexican Latin ska. It's just a clash of everything. Latin ska started popping up in LA in the mid-late 90s. It was in the neighborhood. We had a hard time playing legitimate venues. That's kind of what sparked me having to organize some of these events because no one would do it for us. I think a lot of these Latino kids in the neighborhoods are attracted to ska music. The way people dance, the way people dress, they just find themselves in that. The rhythm really gets you going. It touches a lot of people. To a lot of these kids that go to our shows, it helps them find themselves. It makes them feel like they do belong to something. It's a very personal connection to them.